Here we go. Double-digit weeks. We're in week 10.
It's crazy.
Every year we do this, but man, it goes quick. All right, Dustin, tell him some stuff before I tell him some ranking stuff.
In the description, you will find a link that takes you to these rankings. Mr. Nameco updates them throughout the week as injuries come in, all the way up until kickoff. We shoot this video early in the week, so a lot can change, so check it out.
That's some good stuff. All right, talking about quarterbacks, starting off talking about number 7, the rookie, Dak Prescott.
Been good.
Man, he's been good, and he's been so good in the last 3 games. He has had a total of 9 touchdowns in those 3 games. Obviously, that's an average of what, Dustin, math major?
I wasn't listening to you.
He totally wasn't, that's why I said that. That's an average of 3, because I'm also counting the rushing touchdowns. I actually like the matchup against Pittsburgh. He does more than just game manages. He gets some touchdowns for you.
Did you really ask me what 9 divided by 3 was?
I mean, it was kind of rhetorical. I'd be like, that's 3. It was all part of my bit, but way to go.
I was trying to think of what I wanted to say about Russell Wilson.
Well, maybe you should prepare for once instead of just making
That's
me
what
do all
I
the
was
heavy
doing. I
lifting.
didn't think you were going to ask me a stupid math question. Russell Wilson at number 9, which is 3 times 3. See?
9. I know what that is. I mean, but I'm listening to you at
I
least
said
when you
which
talk.
is 3 times 3. He finally had a good game. New England's kind of tricky because they do have a decent defense, but I do think there could be some points scored in that game. It seems like the Seahawks are going more to a pass-friendly offense. Wilson looked like he had his legs back under him. I think he's back, and we know he's a second-half quarterback. He is so much a second-half quarterback. I'm excited to see what he does down the stretch. I think he's back. I think we're in for a treat with Russell Wilson moving forward.
Ooh, and Jimmy looks good there finally.
Oh, Jimmy.
Jimmy looks good.
3 highlights in one game.
Yeah, and you loved Jimmy before. It was cool to love Jimmy, and then it was like, Jimmy's gone. But now Jimmy's back. But let's talk about running backs. Forget about Dustin's love for Jimmy. Let's talk about running backs. Let's talk about number 10. Let's talk about Spencer Ware. I think he plays this week. I know it was a little bit of a dagger with him being out last week for Ware owners, but don't worry, it's going to be fine. With Jamal Charles sidelined, I think this guy's going to be borderline top 10 from here on out.
Number 15, it's been a roller coaster with this guy, especially with just the love that his owners have had, and maybe it's not so much love anymore, but Devontae Booker at 15, I mean, when he got that starting job, I mean, the excitement level on him was so high. There was no chance he was going to even live up to
You know what you
the
could have
excitement.
traded him for at that point?
Oh, I know.
Oh.
I offered a lot to get Booker in a couple weeks, and I'm so glad that they didn't do it. Well, we'll see. Long term, it's been 2 games, but 29 carries, only 76 yards in his 2 games where he started. And Bibbs is creeping in. I do think Bibbs gets more work this week. I do think Booker is still the guy. And with a matchup against New Orleans, you gotta still be excited about that. Booker's still an RB2 this week. Don't go too crazy and overcorrect. He still has a big upside this week.
All right, at number 21, I'm going with Kelly for the Washington Redskins running back. Here's the thing about Kelly. Gruden came out and basically said he's earned the early down work. Matt Jones has to prove himself to get back into the mix a lot more, which could be as early as 2 snaps in. You never know. But I do think Kelly's going to be the every down back or the early down work with Chris Thompson coming in as the change of pace. So he's a flex guy, right? You're in a bind and he's available. Go ahead and grab him, see what happens.
Jones is still the better runner, I think.
I don't know, he fumbles too. Jones looks like the better runner.
He does.
He looks like he should be awesome. He looks like he should be Marshawn Lynch, but he's not.
We'll see what happens with that one. And a matchup against Minnesota. That one's tough. But I do think he gets the first shot. If Kelly starts out hot, he could have a good week. Peyton Barber at 24. Man, Tampa Bay. They just cannot keep the running backs healthy. As of right now, we're ranking Barber here, assuming Martin and Rodgers don't play. So, keep that in mind. We'll update that as the week goes on. But Barber could be a volume play here. Not the easiest matchup. The Bears' run D is pretty decent. But Barber is okay, and I do think he will get the goal lines, whoever else is in there with him. I think Mike James will probably be in the mix a little bit on the passing downs, but Barber caught some passes too, so he could be used as an every down back, which is James coming in to spell him. So he could have a volume play this week.
All right, going to wide receivers, I'm talking about a guy that if you own, you're obviously starting, but I just want to talk about Mike Evans for a quick minute. First, don't worry about the concussion. I know he's in concussion protocol. He's already passed some of the stages. He's definitely, in my opinion, there's like almost no chance he doesn't play, so we have him ranked as such. But the thing I want to say about Evans is he is good at football, and I wish I owned him in more leagues. That's all I really wanted to say, because it makes me sad I don't own him in more leagues. I wanted to rank him number 1. I think he's arguably the best receiver going forward.
He's been good.
He might be the number 1 receiver from here on out. Him or Julio? Who are you taking? We redraft today. So we going Julio?
I'd have to look at matchups. It's close though. I mean, he's been.
That's a very valid point, though. Continue, move on. Very good.
Des Bryant, I want to.
Mr. Literal.
Des Bryant, I want to talk about. Now, this is a guy that you might not be necessarily guaranteed starting if you own him, because he gave up pretty much a goose egg last week. It was ugly. Matchup at Pittsburgh, not the best, not the worst. If you have Des, the touchdown potential is too high every week. I mean, you're still starting him in most situations. I mean, we have him ranked at 11. The upside's still there. I know you're frustrated from last week, but again, kind of with Booker, don't overcorrect. I mean, you're happy Des Bryant is back and healthy, and most likely you're starting him this week.
Number 22, I'm going to talk about a running back. That's Ty Montgomery for the Green Bay Packers.
That's right, a running back.
I don't know what you're doing, Packers. He's clearly a running back. I don't know why I got to keep ranking him in the wide receivers. I don't know why we can't move him into our RB2 slots, right, Dustin?
Yes, please.
It's just ridiculous. This guy's a running back, and I like him as a running back.
And I get why Yahoo isn't moving him to running back, because the Packers haven't listed Montgomery as a running back, but the Packers just list him as a running back. It's an easy solution. You will make.
You know what's easier? They just say, oh, wow, this guy plays running back, so we're going to go ahead and give him running back eligibility.
I wish that would happen. It would.
Remember Joe Webb? He was a wide receiver, but he had quarterback eligibility.
That was amazing. And he started at least.
Shout out to you, Kilberg, right there.
I think he started at least 1 game, maybe 2. That was fun.
It was in the playoffs.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's good stuff.
32, J.J. Nelson. I love J.J. Nelson. I'm probably like him more than I should, but I like the matchup. Michael Floyd was awful, and I actually attribute some of just that overall terribleness with the Arizona. You like that word? That was the best I could come up with after that whole
Mr.
pause.
Vocab over here.
That their terribleness of the passing game this year, I think a lot of it has to do with Floyd. They were feeding him the ball, and it was just so inefficient.
They wanted it to work.
They wanted it to, but he was dropping passes. He wasn't looking good. Nelson, I think, can give him a spark. He's had 11 catches, 163 yards, and 2 touchdowns in his last 2 games. I think it continues against San Francisco. Like him this week.
All right, tight ends. I want to talk about Tyler Eifert here. Last week, he put up 9 catches, bucko 2 and a touch, and we have him ranked as the 4th tight end, and that's where he's going to be, I think, for the rest of the year. I mean, this guy's a straight-up stud. Now that the injury's over, I absolutely love him. I think it's him, Olsen, Reed, Gronk, and then everybody else when it comes to tight ends. Those are my top 4. Just wanted to talk a little bit about his top 4. He looked so good. You played against him, didn't you?
No, I played against Witten. Thanks a lot, Witten.
Oh, I meant 2 weeks ago when at the Skins.
I think I did. CJ Fedorowicz, I want to talk about at number 11. CJ's looked good. Can I talk about CJ?
Yeah, good.
He's looked good. I'm a little worried about game flow with this one with Jacksonville. I just don't know if they'll be able to stay in the game long enough to where they're passing the whole game. But I do like Fedorowicz. He's such a big guy. He's almost kind of like Gronk size, just a big giant guy rumbling around, but he's got good hands. He's been getting a ton of targets. We're not quite there where we're ranking him in our top 10 yet, but I think that could very easily happen down the stretch. Maybe just want to see a little bit more, make sure he's a consistent part of their game plan each week, but the guy looks good.
Him and Jesse, you like some big guys. Him, Jesse.
They've revolutionized the tight end position.
Defenses. It's a sad day.
Yeah, Minnesota's not number 1. Sorry, buddy.
They can't be.
They
Dustin
can't
made me keep dropping them. I started at 1.
Yeah, he started at 1. I said no. That's not.
I love them though. They should be good.
I don't care.
Redskins, I think they're going to be fine. They're playing the Redskins. Redskins can have some turnovers. They've been pretty good as of late. Their just offense isn't keeping them off the field at all. They're still good. Don't worry. Go ahead, Dustin, talk. If you own them, you're starting them.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. And one defense that I want to talk about is Denver at number 9. Now, this is a defense that you probably have started almost every week if you own them. But they got New Orleans this week.
That's scary.
I mean, yes, they could still have success. And I don't, they're still in our top 10. You're not just instantly benching them. But if there's some good pick up and play defenses this week. With some of these guys up at the top, they're available in a lot of leagues. With even Houston, Baltimore's available in a lot of leagues. So there's some of these teams in front of them that you could probably pick up, and I think it's a little safer. I mean, there's a chance Breeze just
He's been incredible this year. Incredible.
That defense, but
all right, so
will
make sure you
see.
subscribe, thumbs up, leave a comment. You know, tell Dustin to listen to me when I'm talking for once.
like that.
That was the worst toss ever. Pen me. Pen me. I'm actually gonna look. Why am I so bad at that?